Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Hit the bell, subscribe. We have new content coming out daily. Make sure you subscribe. God bless you guys. They could claim a climate disaster, declare an emergency. They might give you the appearance that you're voting when in reality it's really a selection, not an election. The point is this, is that their intellectual community is not hiding the idea to change and eliminate elections. Getting Donald Trump off the ballot is canceling an election by other means. It doesn't matter what you call it. That is a canceled election if Donald Trump is not allowed on the ballot. Period. If Donald Trump is not allowed on the ballot on Arizona and Georgia, that is effectively a canceled election. And that's what The Atlantic is already proposing, period. It's what Larry Tribe is proposing. Because some critics will say, oh, Charlie, come on. But I will say, if you really roll your eyes and you categorize the idea of a canceled election, whether in substance or in reality, as nuts, you're probably the same people that thought we would never lock down, never mask our kids, never have mandatory vaccines. And also you were probably some of the people that thought there's no way that a former president would be facing 600 years in prison a year and a half from an election. Maybe it's time to expand the horizon of what is possible when we're dealing with an evil group of unelected tyrants. We have to war game this stuff. You think they're going to allow a seamless, perfect landing in 2024? By the way, I just want to remind you, I think we forget how chaotic September and October of 2020 was. And Donald Trump still, with all the garbage, was like 8,000 votes short in Arizona. He couldn't even do his rallies the way he wanted to do them. Remember that. He could not do the events the way he wanted to do them. Everything was COVID this and COVID that. Do you really think that the other side wants to have a normal 2016 style election? There is way too much at stake here. Way too much. So how do you prevent it? What we're doing right now on this show is actually how you prevent it. You find it, you isolate it, you publicize it, and you shine a light on it early. You make the bad guys know that we're watching you, that we are on edge, that we see what you're doing. Look, Media Matters and all these people are going to say, oh, the right wing accuses the left of wanting to cancel elections. Let me just remind you, what is the basis of this entire proposition? New York Times, elections are bad for democracy. The Atlantic, Americans vote too much. No one can be a full-time political animal. They are the ones that are trial ballooning it. The Atlantic, the Constitution prevents Trump from ever being president again. Those are three pieces in highbrow, intellectual, left-wing publications that are arguing for a canceled election by another means. Whether you call it an interfered with election, it doesn't matter. It's semantics at that point, okay? Some people might say, well, Charlie, you mean there'll be no election whatsoever? That's probably unlikely. But the point is that they are arguing for a reconfiguration of what we consider to be a normal way, and they are sick of the consent of the governed. They are exhausted of having to deal with you every couple of years. They don't have to have, they do not want to have to keep going back to the people for a renewed permission slip. They don't like that. They don't think we're smart enough. They don't think that we believe what they believe enough. And so the unelected elites, the professors, the masters of the universe, the Fauci types. Play cut 38.
The question, I have been considering the 14th Amendment. And a man I have enormous respect for, Larry Tribe, who advised me for a long time, thinks that it would be legitimate.
That was in regards to the debt. Just so we're clear, debt ceiling. But Larry Tribe, who he's complimenting, much respect for, is the one who wrote the piece yesterday in The Atlantic calling for Donald Trump not allowed to become on the ballot. So before, some of my critics, oh, Charlie's out there blowing, bluster about a canceled election, time out, time out, time out. Just read them in their own words. Don't even take my commentary for it. Just read what they are saying. Something has changed in the last 24 to 36 hours where all of a sudden, boom, they're just saying bluntly and plainly, forget this election stuff. The 14th Amendment operates as a cheat code to try to get whatever you want. As we said yesterday, and we came under attack from the media, and I don't care, the 14th Amendment was a great thing. It did a great thing. However, it was too sloppily and broadly written so that it could cancel elections, ignore the debt ceiling, birthright citizenship, and all of that. That's all from the 14th Amendment. And whatever you call it, if you call it a tampered election, an interfered with election, a canceled election, a damaged election, whatever, it is clear that the ruling class, the philosopher kings and queens, and the academics of the regime do not want to have a normally constitutionally administered election. That is a fact. Read them in their own words. Don't even speculate beyond it. Why? This is because the indictments aren't working. That's why. They see it, they feel it, and they're panicking. Donald Trump will only grow more popular as these indictments fall apart, as Big Fannie Willis and her group of thugs in Fulton County try to go after Trump. It's just going to keep on deteriorating and deteriorating and deteriorating. Trump is stronger than ever, and he's only going to get stronger. Even if they get convictions, he appeals, he runs. So now they have to go to the most extreme measures. The most extreme measures change the election itself. That's the most extreme measure. First, try to prevent the candidate, and then go to the process and the game. Change the rules of the game. That's where they are at right now.